Good morning, it's Norma Cowie with a Sunday Thought. I don't know about where you are, but it's still cold here, and going outside is around freezing, a little bit below, trying to get above, but it's still very, very cold and some snow on the ground. But in a I think it's 3 more Sundays, and it's Christmas Day. So I'm sure everyone's running around a little bit, getting ready. I remember the years when my kids were little and having to put everything together and making it all work and bringing everything the way we wanted it to do. And as I had contemplated about this, what I was going to speak on this morning, which I like to think is my inspiring talk, isn't always that way, but sometimes it is. And I have been watching a lot of soccer the last few days, some wonderful, incredible games. Because I follow a British team, several of the players are in other countries. And so that makes it a little bit more personal, but it certainly has been a good thing. And I was disappointed in some ways that England went out yesterday in the quarterfinals, but still lots of good games. And next week be some semifinals and finals. But we find our delights in life where we look for them and what we appreciate them. I've also done a lot of readings because it's been so cold. I haven't been going out and about. But today, as I'm doing this very early, I think I will be probably out the door pretty soon to do some early shopping that I need done. But besides that, what I wanted to share today was talking about power, personal power. We hear a lot about power in the big arena of life, the political arena, the stars, the anybody that kind of has some power. But we ourselves have our personal power. Now, one of the things that we find very often, there are three kinds of power that we tend to run. There's power over, when we're more of a dictator and a controller. And usually if we have that position in life, we kind of, have the finger up or the pen. I used to throw my pens around. I used to use my pen a lot when I moved into that stage, especially when I was lecturing, and all of a sudden, because I'd be writing on the board something and then the pen would come this way. Then there is power under. Now, power under is more of a victim place. It's where you don't feel that you're powerful. You feel you just have to kind of put up with whatever's going on, etc. And then there is the ability of where we really want to be is power with. With means it's not over or under, but we're communicating. We're able to communicate. We're able to do things. But often, that's where we want to be. But very often there's one more part of play that we will often play in relationship, and that's the rescuer. So when we think of power, our personal power, are we being over authoritarian, we'll say, my way or the highway? Are we being more the victim? Oh, dear, I don't want to say anything, or I'll just have to accept that. Or are we power with? It took me years to learn to even come close to the power with, because I was either over or under. And that often happens. Under in certain relationships for sure, over in just working to get my point across very often, because over the years I've had different points of view than the majority of people around me, mainly because I haven't learned them always from books at all. I've learned them more from inspiration, you might say advice given to me from above or whatever. So I have quite a different viewpoint very often. And very, in the early years when I'd be working to change a person's perspective or an idea, I could get a little authoritarian about it. But on the whole, the other side is, and I have talked about this in Norma Talks, is the Cartman Triangle, the dictator, the victim, the rescuer. Again, different names can be applied at different times. We do all three. We do power over, power under, and power with. I think the with we learn as we go along. The dictator, the rescuer, the victim, if we begin to really examine how we handle our relationships, what we will find is that very often we go around, and it's so funny sometimes when you're beginning to observe this and watch this, you'll find yourself do all three within 2 minutes. It's and it, you're kind of saying this what it is, then you'll feel, oh, they're not listening to me, what poor me kind of thing, and then you'll try and rescue whatever else, not maybe another person. Rescuing is probably the biggest thing for mothers in lots of ways. If they're not a dictator type mother, is we're rescuing, we're trying to help, we try and do things. A lot of people have that. And then they often feel like no one's listening to me, no one cares about me, where am I going to be, what's happening? And really the key is, when I'm just going to move this to another level of how are we loving? How are we loving each other? How are we loving ourselves? Do we respect ourselves? Do we give ourselves the love that we require? And do we even understand what love we kind of require? Now, there is that all-embracing love, that universal love that I talk about so often. There is that gives us a sense of knowing that we're loved no matter what. But when it comes to personal relationships, things can messy sometimes. Every person has a point of them where maybe not every person, lots of people have a point where they never really feel loved, where they feel that something's missing, or they're not having what they would like in their lives when it comes to the loving sense or being accepted. Often I think love has a big deal of acceptance in it. To be accepted for who you are, to be accepted for what you think, what you believe, what you do. All of these things are and can be incredibly important, I believe, to each and every person. To be made wrong very often, or someone says, oh, that's not correct, you will tend often just to fall into a victim place and feel, well, I can't get what I want, or I don't know what to do, and I don't know how to do it. So we'll get sad, we'll get sorrowful, some people move into anxiety over that, even though they may not feel like they're being victimized. They are doing it to themselves mentally. That I often find. And the rescuer is actually often the people who help us in life, the nurses, the doctors. They have a strong degree to help, and that's good. But are they helping themselves in their own lives? Are they getting their help? Are they getting their awareness? So this Sunday, as we're coming into Christmas, when pressure builds up, there's no doubt about it, December has a lot of pressure in it. And I think we have a little bit more than maybe this year because of what's happening on the world stage. So just be aware, how are you responding to that? Are you responding like, well, I can't do anything about it, we just have to put up with it, a little bit like that? Are we going, well, we'll have to just dig in here and see what we can do? Or are we really trying to just make sure everybody is happy, everybody is making do? We jump around that Cartman triangle so much. It's amazing sometimes. But I really want you to think about your own power base. Where are you coming from? Are you power with? Because the key is to listen. How can you respond in an effective way? Are you listening to yourself? Are you admitting that you're feeling frustrated? Sometimes just by admitting to yourself, I really feel frustrated in this situation, the frustration will disappear, because emotion that we resist persists. We push it down, and then but it's still there churning away. So 3 weeks basically, of Sundays till Christmas Day. So make the most of them. Enjoy. You'll see I've got my flowers out. I've got some Christmas decorations up, etc. And it can be a wonderful year. I just love the lights outside, but it's enjoyable. So I want you to have a great Sunday. I will be back on Monday, which is only tomorrow night, to do my mental mind treatments, which is my way of doing prayers for people. So any problems, any issues, let me know. If you can't be there at 7:00 when we're live, email me through my website. It's really easy to get hold of me. And I really, really wish you well. I wish you have a great day. I hope the weather's improving wherever you are, and going out isn't really too hassly. You have a great Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow night and again on Wednesday. Blessings.